What is up, everybody? Demo the Warrior here, and he's back this year, October 19th. Michael Myers returns for Halloween 2018. And today, I wanted to talk about something I've been seeing lately. So, there's things going around that Halloween fans are having backlash against this new movie, and it's for a specific reason that they're ignoring the entire storyline, and people are very upset about it, and I don't understand why, and I'm going to give my opinion on it. So, they're pretty much, everybody knows this by now, but after the first movie, Halloween 1978, they're ignoring the entire franchise after that up until this new movie. And people are very pissed about that. I don't understand why. They're pissed that there's no more family storyline. They're saying, oh, you fucked it up, the franchise is... whatever. I don't see why people are so flipped out over this, and why people think it's such a bad thing. Because, in my opinion, I think that this is the best thing that they could have done. And I think that they... What's up? Sorry, my dog was jumping on me. This is probably the best option they had to go with. They probably really had no other choice. Because if you look at it, and you look at all the past movies and stuff they had... What do you want? They had no choice but to go this route. Because as somebody who's directing a movie and writing a script, do you really want to have to go back to watch Halloween 4, 5, Curse, H2O, Resurrection, look at that, and then try to piece it all together and continue the storyline from there? And almost, I don't even know when it came out, 2002, 2003 it was Resurrection, so like over 15 years ago, whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure nobody wanted to see it continue from there anyway, because Resurrection was just so bad. Like, why do you think the franchise got remade in the first place? And then that flopped too. And then at that point, it seemed like they just gave up on it, but now it's back this year. But yeah, I really don't understand why people are so mad. This is honestly the best thing they could have done, because if you look at it, that shit is just so confusing that there's no way they could piece it together and try to figure out continuity and everything to then continue this movie from that point. And I think what they wanted to do was to just start fresh. I think they were just like, you know what, this shit's too confusing, it's going to be too hectic, and it's just going to make people more confused if we try to connect it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have a fresh start. Everybody loves the original, so what we're going to do is make an alternate universe, pretty much. If they want the family storyline, Thorn storyline, whatever, they'll go from Halloween 2 onward. And if they want this universe, then they'll go from Halloween onward to this movie. And I think they wanted to start fresh, and they were like, that's just gonna be way too confusing for us to try to figure out and connect, and when it would be easier just to look at the original and the cliffhanger ending. That leaves so many open ends for different things that can happen. So they looked at it as, when people think of Michael Myers, they think of Michael Myers from the first movie. And people say that's the best version of Michael Myers. So they took that, and they took what made Michael Myers in the first place. They took the version of Michael Myers that everybody loves more than in the later sequels, and they're continuing from what that Michael Myers was, and they're trying to keep what that Michael Myers was in this new movie. Michael lost his edge after they changed the mask and added all this stuff into the franchise about family. He lost his mystique. The mystery about him, the creepiness, all of that, and he just became a joke. And, these people cared enough to bring this back, and they want to bring back what made this series. They want to bring back what made it so popular. and they want to bring back, I guess, the real Michael Myers. That's what some people have said. They're like, oh, that's the real Michael Myers, this one's just a joke, whatever. And it's just going to be easier for them to do it this way, where they have free reign for new ideas and things they can do and not have to worry about what happened in those other movies. And they don't have to worry about family or anything like that, or a thorn curse. You know, they have free reign to completely use different and new ideas. Now, this movie, from what I've seen in the trailer and everything, you guys saw me do a trailer reaction. What I've seen from this movie is pretty much, it's pretty much a remake of the first movie, but also a continuation at the same time. You still got, you know, Michael breaking out and then killing people, and Laurie's there, so that's the same. So they tried to remake the first movie to get familiar fans back into it, but then they're also adding new things to the movie to get new people, to have new experiences for new people, I guess. So you have those elements from the first movie to bring back the old fans, and then you have the new stuff to engage new fans. And for some reason, people are just mad about this. People love the family storyline and the Thorn shit. I don't know how. It's so confusing and just so stupid at some points. Like, people love it, and I'm like, how could you love something that the people who are making the movies did not give a shit about? Like, Halloween 4 was great. I'm not gonna lie, it was a good movie. Halloween 5 was horrible because they wanted to cash in on it because Halloween 4 did so good, and it ended up being a horrible sequel. It looked horrible. You could, when you watch it, you just feel like they didn't care. And then Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers, was even worse. It's a good movie. It's an enjoyable movie to watch, but in terms of the storyline and stuff like that, they did not care. They completely went off the rails with it, and it's just so much shit that they couldn't even put it in the theater, and they had to completely alter the movie, and it just feels incomplete. And I've watched the producer's cut of it, and it feels more complete, but at the same time, it's just so fucking out there. It's like, what happened to this franchise? It's just about a guy that you knew nothing about, had no reason to kill people, was just so creepy and mysterious, was killing people as a regular dude, but he had an aura to him. He had a dark, evil power to him, and you couldn't explain what he was, and he was just like a force. That's the best way people describe him. And then he becomes this dude who's just on a mission to kill his family, and is invincible, because they had no other option but to do that. Because they killed Michael Myers off in Halloween 2, and then you go to Halloween 4, and you're like, okay, well, we need a reason to bring him back. So then they had to make up that reason. Well, and in Halloween 2, like, they didn't even know what to write then, because, you know, they wanted them to pump out a sequel. It shows you they don't care. But Halloween 2 was good, but, like, they had to add the whole... They had to have a reason for him going after Laurie again. And they had to add, oh, she's his sister. And that one little thing from that movie is what they took and made new movies on, and it just didn't turn out the way they intended. It just didn't feel right. And people are so upset over that they're ignoring all that stuff and continuing from the first movie, which is what they should have done in the first place. If they're making sequels, continue from it and show what happened to those people after that night, but then you also show what happened to Michael. He doesn't have to go after the same people, you know? I don't know, man, like, Halloween probably has the most confusing franchise. I don't know, Friday the 13th is pretty fucking confusing too, but that'll be for another day. Whenever they make a new Friday the 13th movie, I'll talk about that. God, that won't happen anytime soon. They're stuck in development hell with that, but there's like a lawsuit going on with Friday the 13th or something like that. That's why they can't do anything for the game anymore, but we're talking about Halloween. So I think it's a good idea that they're choosing this route. And I don't see why people are so mad about it. Like, if you really care about the family storyline that much, and it bothers you that much, then don't watch this movie. You don't have to go see this movie. Like, as a Halloween fan, you can enjoy any one of the movies that you want, and you can have your own opinions, but there's no reason to hate on a movie because it wants to ignore something that made the franchise go downhill, and they don't want to have that problem again. You can't blame them for ignoring it, because it was just what would have happened if they would have continued it? It was just going to go down the same road it went down before. And I'm glad they picked to do it this way because, like I said, it opens up opportunities to do new things, and they don't have to be restrained by, oh, he has to kill his family. Like, have to have that every movie. Oh, he has to go after his family. They have free reign to do whatever they want with him. So in this movie, as far as I know, there was like a trailer released at SDCC, but I haven't seen it. It hasn't been released to the public yet. It's pretty much just longer versions of what they showed in the trailer is what I heard. And apparently it's really good. But then they got fan backlash for ignoring the rest of the franchise, which I don't know. But from what I've seen in this movie, from the trailer and everything, Michael has been in captivity for 40 years. They captured him that night after he got shot. So that shows that, I don't know, actually. I was going to say that shows that he is vulnerable. If he was, after he got shot, if he was able to get captured. And then in this movie, he's supposed to be a way more aggressive Michael Myers because he's been held up in captivity for 40 years, and it's gonna make him more angry. And once he finally gets loose, he's gonna let it all out, and he's gonna be more aggressive, and it's just gonna be a good thing. That kind of that just made me like look up like what the heck. And apparently he's supposed to try to kill Laurie's granddaughter. I don't know what all that's about, but then something about they're on a bus getting transferred or something, and then the bus crashes, and then Michael escapes, and then he goes after the people in the trailer, like the dude that held up the mask. He goes after him, kills them, and gets the mask back. And then I don't know after that, and then ends up in Haddonfield, and then it's just like killing people. And Laurie is a completely different character this time. And people were saying, oh, she's just copy and paste Laurie from H2O. But I don't know. I'd have to see more of it, but from what this looks like, it seems like a more badass Laurie than that. She's like dedicated her... In H2O, she dedicated her whole life to running away and hiding away and getting her name changed. And then in this movie, she spent her whole life, she's still Laurie Strode, she spent her whole life dedicating herself to train and be ready for whenever he gets out, because she knows it's going to happen. So this is a completely different Laurie. But I'm getting kind of off track here. That's pretty much the gist of the movie I got from that. I don't know what they're going to do at the end of this movie. Apparently there was like a sequel tease. Because you know they're going to make more sequels to this. If this makes a lot of money, which I believe it will, they're going to make sequels. I just hope that when they do make sequels, they don't go overboard with it and overkill with it like they did before. Plan out your storylines. Now what they can do is with this movie, they can have a sequel in mind. Depending on how well the movie does. If the movie does well, then they can go ahead and work on another movie. If it doesn't, then it doesn't have to have a sequel. Like, I hate when movies do that, where they like, we'll have a first part, and then they already know what they want to do for sequel, and then they write it and start making it before the movie even comes out, and then the movie might not even do that good, and they just pump out sequels. Now, what they can do is just see how well this movie does with a sequel in mind, have the mindset of, if this does well, then this is what we can do for the next one to continue from here. And if it doesn't do well, then we don't have to do that. Or if it doesn't do well, then maybe we could try something else and look at it and see what was wrong with it and maybe fix those things. That's what they should do. And they shouldn't have the mindset to, oh, it made a lot of money, pump out a sequel just to have a sequel, just to make more money. It shouldn't be like, I hate how like film is now, where it's just about the money. It should never be about money. And I think that's what ruined a lot of horror franchises, because it went from being creative ideas and something that people were passionate about making into, oh, it made a lot of money, and then that's what we care about now. And, we'll just push out whatever, sequel after sequel, because we know it's going to make a lot of money, because people are going to go watch it. Instead of having something, a series, a franchise that you're passionate about and that you put your heart and soul into, and have great movies and a great storyline. Meanwhile, you'll make more money doing it that way, because if you show that you care, then your fans will care. But if you want to be like Halloween 5 and 6 and Resurrection, stuff like that, where you could tell they did not care, and they were trying to hop on trends, and they were trying to pump out a sequel for a quick buck, then it's no wonder those movies flopped. Because if you don't care and you're doing it just to make a quick buck, then people aren't going to care. People aren't going to care to see it. Like, why do you think people love the first Halloween so much? There was so much care and effort put into it. I watched the Halloween Inside Story. I know how much went into it to make that movie. How much passion went into that. And then you can look at Halloween 2 and you don't really feel much of that passion, because the directors and the producers weren't as into it as they were in the first movie. And they were just doing it to make money. And it shows in the movie. I hate how it always becomes about money, and then the movies end up being terrible, and you can tell they're just pumping out these sequels just to make money, and it's sick. And as a horror fan, it makes me upset, because I remember I've always loved Halloween 1 and 2, because to me that's creepy fucking Michael Myers. That is creepy as fuck, watching Michael Myers in those movies. Like, holy fuck, he's creepy. And then you watch Halloween 4, 5, 6, H2O, Resurrection, Michael Myers. He's not scary at all. He's stupid. He just looks stupid. He acts stupid. He ain't creepy. It's just not Michael Myers, man. He lost his aura and everything that was him, and they're trying to salvage that with this movie. And that's what people don't understand. They're trying to bring back what made Halloween and what made Michael Myers, what made it so special, instead of continuing on with that garbage from the rest of the franchise. Don't at me. I don't care. I don't give a fuck what you say. They're garbage. A couple of them are good movies, but the storyline is garbage. Don't at me. Don't quote me. Don't nothing. Don't be calling me a faggot in the comments. I know what I'm talking about. I love Halloween. I never saw the first Halloween until 2012, 2013. I know. Oh, you're you're freaking 30 years too late, dude. Okay, well, I wasn't allowed to watch horror movies when I was little, okay? So, it was around that time I started getting into horror movies. I was watching, the whole Friday the 13th franchise, the whole Halloween franchise, Nightmare on Elm Street, and I noticed something. I really noticed something about all of them. when I watched them for the first time, when I watched Halloween, the first Halloween for the first time, I was scared. I can't lie to you. I was scared to death of that movie. Okay, not scared to death, but I was like scared. Especially during like the final chase scene in the movie. I was like scared, like legit scared. And a movie had never done that to me before. And it was just like the presentation of the movie, the quality of the movie, and just how Michael Myers was in that movie that made it so scary for me. And then I remember I watched Halloween 2, and I wasn't as scared, but I was still like really creeped out by him. And I was like, what is wrong with this guy? Halloween was the first Halloween was the first ever movie to actually scare me. I actually had nightmares about Michael Myers from that movie. For a couple weeks after that. I got over it. But then I watched Halloween 3. I was like, what the fuck is this? Halloween 4, it was good. I enjoyed it. And from that point on, I wasn't scared. And there was nothing scary about it. And it came to a point where I was laughing at Michael Myers because of how much of a joke it was. And I've noticed that about other franchises too, like Friday the 13th. The original Friday the 13th, I haven't watched that much, but it is creepy. Friday the 13th Part 2, which is my favorite Friday the 13th. You know, Jason's creepy in that movie. It's because you know nothing about him. He wasn't labeled as the guy with the hockey mask yet. You know, he had a mystique about him. And then Part 3, Jason, like, the first time I watched Part 3, I was scared of that movie. But it was whatever. Part 4 it kind of scared me a little bit. Part 5 didn't even scare me in the slightest. And as I noticed, as they kept making more sequels, the less and less scary they become, and the more of a joke they become. You know? And I've noticed that with Nightmare on Elm Street too. Like, the first Nightmare on Elm Street was scary, and the second one was really weird, but it was scary. The third one is where it started turning into like the 80s style, and after that it just became a joke. I've noticed that about a lot of franchises where their first 1 or 2 movies will be legit scary horror movies, and then as the sequels come out, they're less and less scary, and you can tell they're just cash grabs. And that sucks. Because you look at the first movies, they have to try their hardest, and they have to put their all into it for it to become successful. And that's why the first movie is always the best. And that's why some of the sequels are really good too, because they take everything that was wrong with the first one, and they're supposed to improve on it, which makes that good. And then after that point is where it starts going down, and I don't understand that. And as I watched all these franchises, I'm just like, God, where did the passion go? You know, what happened? Like, Friday the 13th just became so formulaic after a while, then they tried to change it up and add all this weird shit into it. It just wasn't Friday the 13th anymore. Halloween added this thorn shit, and it just wasn't Halloween anymore. Nightmare on Elm Street got so weird, it wasn't Nightmare on Elm Street anymore. It's crazy, man. That's why I'm glad with this new movie they're ignoring the rest of the franchise. And they're going back to what made the first one so special. And they're putting the same heart and passion that they put into the first one into this movie. And I hope this movie reaches nothing but success. And I hope this is the best horror movie that I've watched in years. Like, I hope it turns out how, like, it was a really good horror movie. Like, I hope it turns out like that, where they bring it back and it's so fucking good. I have such high hopes for this Halloween. Hopefully it doesn't end up being a flop. Well, with what I can tell, how they're bringing all these old people back from the first movie, you know, John Carpenter, Nick Castle, Jamie Lee Curtis, you know, all of them. And I'm seeing so much passion in them, and they're so happy to be doing it. You know, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't give off that vibe of, oh yeah, it's just another sequel we're pumping out. And you can tell they're trying to make Michael Myers how he was in the first movie, just like they're trying to bring back that mystery about him and that force about him, but this time he's back and he's more aggressive. And what I like about Michael Myers in this movie is, from what I've seen, you never know what he's going to do next or who he's going to go after. Since there's no family storyline, he has free reign to do that. Now he's just going to be a guy that just kills anybody, which is crazy. Which that in itself is scary. Because, he's killing his family, so you know who he's going after. But now you never know who he's going to go after next. And he's just this evil that's been unleashed on this town, and he's not going to stop until he kills everybody. And that's scarier than anything that they have done in the sequels. Don't at me. And that's why I don't understand why people are so mad that they're ignoring the rest of the franchise. If anything, this is the best thing they could have done for the franchise. If they wanted to bring Halloween back and bring Michael Myers back, this was the only option they could have had. And I'm glad they're doing what they're doing. I'm glad they're going down this route, and I hope this movie does extraordinarily well. I hope it's very successful, and I hope it's a very good movie, and I hope that if they do make a sequel to this movie, I just hope the money doesn't get to their head, and I hope it doesn't just become about, that one did really good, so let's make another one because it made a lot of money. I hope they try to keep continuity. I hope they try to use new ideas, but don't go overboard. Because some movies try new ideas and they get way too out there. But yeah. Damn, 26 minutes. Jesus Christ, I didn't think I'd be talking for this long on it, but yeah. That's what I think about all this fan backlash bullshit. Like, just get over it. Like, they're gonna do what they want with it. At the end of the day, you don't have to watch the movie, so I'm probably going to get a lot of hate comments on this video, but I hope you guys saw my opinion and saw it the way I see it. It just sucks that, they're trying so hard with this new movie, and then you got the fans being like, we don't like it because, you're ignoring the rest of the franchise, and, not even trying to give this movie a chance. If this movie gives off that Michael Myers vibe from the first two movies, I'm sold. If Michael comes off the way he does again, but even scarier, that's all I want from this movie. I just want creepy as fuck mystery Myers back. That's what I'm gonna call him, because you know nothing about him, why he's doing what he's doing. That's the whole point of him. You're not supposed to be able to explain him. He's not supposed to have a motive. He's just evil. He's just unstoppable evil, and that's what they forgot about him. And that's all I want out of this movie, is for Michael to go back to that. Because that's what this franchise has been missing for so fucking long. Because every movie they try to explain what Michael Myers is and why he does what he does, forgetting that that's the whole point John Carpenter made in the first place, is you're not supposed to. So they ignored the entire point of Michael Myers, the whole point Michael Myers was created. They ignore that, and they're just like, let's try to explain it. No. But that's all I want out of this movie. I just want all these old slashers to come back, and I want them to be scary again, and I don't want them to be known as, they're just joke 80s slashers. No. I want, Halloween's coming back. I want this to do so well, because then that's going to open up doors and opportunities for Friday the 13th to come back. Nightmare on Elm Street to come back. We already got Chucky doing all kinds of movies. We're having a new It movie next year. So hopefully this opens up the door for all these old slashers, and they can have all these old slashers with new fans, and introduce them to a whole new group of people and scare them the same way we were scared all those years ago. That's all I want out of all these movies coming back, and that's all I want out of Halloween. But that's my opinion on this. I hope you guys agree with me. I hope you enjoyed. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Love you guys so much, and I hope Halloween does good. I'm hyped. October 19th. I'll see you later. Peace out, guys.